Hello and welcome back to your final Fun with English class for this session. I'm sure you are excited to go to your new class, but remember, a lot of these topics will be revised again in class 2. So keep practicing and keep yourselves updated. By the end of this lesson, the students will be able to understand how to solve crosswords, recollect the topic of homophones and the relevant examples, apply their knowledge of homophones to solve the crossword, relate homophones to current topics and themes of study. And if you continue with the activities, you will also be able to use your time creatively. In our last class, we were introduced to homophones, isn't it? Blue and blue, as you can see in the picture, have two different meanings and different spellings as well, but the sound they make is the same. And the same can be said for pear, one, see, eye, hair. So have you been practicing your homophones? Did you like the songs that I shared? Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Here are a few more. Night, flower, peace, and right. Were you able to draw the different homophone pairs that I shared with you? Yes, flower was one of them, wasn't it? Which flower did you draw? In today's class, we will talk about solving crosswords. I'm sure you must have seen crosswords in the papers and magazines, and some of them are even meant for kids, but others are quite challenging and are meant for adults. So do you know how crosswords work? Yes, we have these grids and numbers written on them and clues that help us to fill up this grid. So let us look at the clues now. So here we have the clues. On one side it says across and the other side says down. Can you see the movement of the arrows? For the ones reading across, on our table where we have 1, we have to write the words in this way, towards the arrow. And in the places where it says down, we have to write the words from top to bottom. Right, you can say vertically, while across is horizontally. So let us look at these clues and remember they are homophones. I have also shared the answers for your reference. Shane will be traveling to Greece next dash. Now this can be any time, next day, next year. But what do you think? Does day and year have a homophone? What about week? Does week have a homophone? Yes, it does. So Shane will be traveling to Greece next week. Which spelling of week will come here, children? Yes, it's W-E-E-K. So this word goes across in our grid. Let us look at another one. Gwen topped her steaming dash with a dollop of butter. I think this one is challenging. What can it be? Let us have a look at the words here. Do any of them sound like food? Yes, it is steak. So Gwen topped her steaming steak with a dollop of butter. The fifth one across says, I didn't dash the doorbell. I think this one is rather simple. I didn't hear the doorbell. Olivia has long curly dash. It is hair, H-A-I-R. 7 across is hair. 8 across reads Hugh and Ken dash croissants with chocolate sauce. They could have had it, but another word, which is the past tense of eat, is ate. They ate croissants with chocolate sauce. So, my across table is ready. What about the one reading down? I found my wallet dash. Now, which word can come here? Yes, it is here. 3 down says, Frank used a metal dash for the tent pole. Now, what can you use to put up a tent? Yes, it is a metal stake. Stake. Daphne gave dashed jelly beans to her brother. This seems like a number, which is the homophone of 8. So it is the number 8. The fifth word down reads the dash hid in his burrow. Yes, rabbits live in burrows, but so do hares. So the hare hid in his burrow. The sixth word down reads Lillian's puppy is dash and tired. Yes, the last word here is weak. So do you want to see how our crossword will look once we fill it all up? Here it is. Following the clues, as we fill in the words, the crossword begins to get filled up. As we fill, it also becomes easier to find the other words. Don't worry, I will give you another crossword for your practice that you can try at home. Let us now read a very interesting poem, A Sailor's Sales Pitch by Liana Mahoney. I'll tell you a tale of a tale you might see if you're willing to sail to the uncharted sea. A sailor once said that the story's been told. In the sea's setting sun, this tale shimmers with gold, and belongs to a maid who is fair-faced and finned, and swims beside boats propelled on the wind. Wow, that seems like an enchanted tale, isn't it? Who do you think this creature could be? Who is this fair maid under the sea? If you are guessing it's a mermaid, I think you are guessing quite right. The sailor is talking about seeing a mermaid at sea. Can you find the homophones in this poem? Do you think you can add another stanza with the homophones which are left? We also just heard about boats being propelled by the wind. What does propel mean? Yes, pushed forward. What kind of boats are these that are pushed forward by the wind? Yes, it should be a sailboat, and the wind helps the sail and the boat to move forward. Have you been on a sailboat? Have you felt wind in your hair? How did you like the experience? And talking about wind, you have been studying about air, isn't it? Can you think of homophones related to air? Yes, the word air itself has a homophone, A-I-R and H-E-I-R. Do you know what is the meaning of heir with an H? Yes, heir is the person who will get the throne after the current ruler. What are some of the other homophones that we can think of? Last week I told you about blue. Yes, blue as in the color of the sky which gets reflected in water, and the water appears to be blue. But is the water really blue, children? No, water is colorless, tasteless, and odorless, just like air. And what is the homophone of the color blue? It is blue. The wind blew my hat away. And with all the moving wind, we have changes in the weather. Do you think weather has a homophone? Yes, it does. It is weather, which means if. Would you like to hear a poem about the weather? Whether the weather be fine or whether the weather be not, whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. That was a tricky poem, isn't it? It is a play on homophones. Try and write it down and see which weather comes where. Since we are learning all about air, why don't we try some fun activities? Do you like blowing bubbles? This is only possible because of the air we breathe out. So the next time you are blowing bubbles, think about what is happening and how. The sound of wind rings through many a musical instrument and also through wind chimes. So why don't you try making a wind chime of this kind using old keys? Tie them to strings and put it up next to a tree in your lawn. When the wind rustles and blows, you will hear the tinkling sound of the keys. You can also use natural things to make a wind chime. It can be sticks or small pebbles, whatever you feel like. And notice the different sounds made by clattering of objects. Speaking of musical instruments, can you name some wind instruments? Share your answers with us. And just like the movement of the windmills, you can make your own pinwheels which turn round and round in the wind. I'm sharing a video link with you. You can watch it and make your own pinwheel. With this, children, I'd like to say thank you, yes, in the form of a homophone, and I wish you all the best for the coming year. Take care and stay well, children. It has been an absolute pleasure to teach you Fun with English.